Hi, Kathy McKenzie from Fire Up. Lovely to have you here with us today.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here. It's so good to see you again. Sorry, I nearly cut across you there in my excitement.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm happy. I'm one of those people that doesn't mind people talking over the top of me because I do it myself. So I have to be very careful. With my coaching course, I'm learning about listening and listening to understand. I'm loving it. So we're talking about the Fire Up coaching, the accredited coaching course that we're actually doing in partnership with Businesswomen Australia as a great pathway for businesswomen who want to develop their coaching skills. So I've got some questions I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah.
You've been doing these accredited coaching courses for a while. So why Fire Up accredited coaching? Why would someone do this course?
I think one of the reasons that our course has developed so much is because we're aligned to the International Coach Federation core competencies, and they've grown and changed with the market. And corporate now has really moved into the coaching space, which is about partnering with people rather than advising them. And I had a great conversation with Anne Rolfe this morning, who does mentoring training and makes that great distinction about the input. That when you're a coach, you're asking the questions and you're drawing information out from people, whereas a mentor is still actively listening, but they won't input until, they'll have input and give advice, which is what we're not doing as a coach. And that's so important in the current business environment when people are overloaded with information and you need to actually be able to ask really good questions.
That's it. And, I come from a consulting background. So for me, it's very different. Like the skills I'm learning through this coaching course, which I've just started, we're over halfway through now and I'm loving it, by the way. I wish I'd done it years ago because I can see that in my management roles as a manager of people and even as a parent, maybe perhaps even as a spouse, to develop these different types of listening skills and to understand that so many of the client, the answers are within themselves. This belief that we don't have to fix or advise, but the belief that the answers are with the actual client is really amazing. And the process that we've been practicing even today, actually I've just got off a practice session.
Great.
Sticking to the process, I mean, it's amazing. It's just unfolds in front of you. So at some parts of it, you think, gosh, where's it going to go? Because it's not up to me to decide where it's going to go. Just sticking with the process and it reveals where it needs to go. I love that. So the accreditation, you talked about the International Coaching Federation. That's obviously what we're seeing around the place as ICF. So what is that body? For those of us who are new to this, what's the big deal about that?
Look, it was interesting because when I got into coaching in the early 2000s, so I was quite a pioneer in Australia, and at that stage there was a number of different bodies proclaiming that they would be the professional body for coaches. Fortunately for me, I aligned with the International Coach Federation, as it was called then. It's actually grown so much now that it's become the International Coaching Federation. It's actually got 6 different arms. The one that's most relevant to us is the one relating to you being a coach and there's 8 core competencies, and there's also a really great code of ethics. And being aligned to the International Coaching Federation gives people a benchmark and a level of understanding that you are a really credible and well-trained coach. And we've grown over the years, as has the ICF, and it's been an exciting partnership. I was on the board for a number of years and involved in some of the ethical conversations because it is such a privileged space to be having such personal conversations with people that ethical behaviour and the integrity you demonstrate is absolutely essential, and that's a very important part of our programs and why we chose the ICF to align to.
So I heard recently that a lot of organisations that are doing their performance reviews, and particularly ones that are doing 360 performance evaluations and so on, are really now starting to bring coaches in behind those kinds of development programs. And they will be looking for accredited coaches that have this type of standing, really, won't they, in terms of choosing qualified coaches?
Well, without a doubt, it's very interesting. We've done about 5 or 6 tenders in the last couple of months, and a lot of them are leadership programs using psychometric tools such as DISC or HBDI or LSI, and they don't want people getting defensive about their results. They actually want people engaged and coached around what does this mean to you and how can you grow as a result of it, this understanding about yourself. And that's why nearly every tender now has got coaching in the title. It's not just about leadership programs, it's leadership and coaching programs, which is a really interesting shift and a big opportunity for people who've got, people like yourself are exactly our target market, Lyn, in terms of lots of experience, lots to offer, lots of passion. However, a really good, a really good shift and adaptation in terms of the way that you approach conversations.
That's it. I've seen, so many different team members with different styles of managers that have had these types of opportunities, getting the feedback and then just being left to their own devices to be able to work out then what their growth pathways are, or, as a manager feeling responsible to help them and not really having the tools. I'm just looking at this going, God, I wish I'd had this back in the day when I was in corporate, because it just would have been so helpful. And look, it does take you on a pathway of your own journey too. A lot of stuff coming up for me in terms of areas I want to focus on to improve and be a better person and a better leader and a better manager and a better team player. So I'm loving it. I really am loving it. So why would anyone, there's lots of different ways and lots of accreditations that are aligned with ICF. Why would this be a really great one from your point of view of doing it with the Businesswomen Australia pathway powered by FireUp?
Well, I think at the moment, and part of the reason I was so excited to get involved with Businesswomen Australia is because you only have to open the paper at the moment to see how important it is that women really understand the power they have to create change. And being able to have coaching conversations and challenge people from a skillful base, so that when you're in that conversation and someone needs to be challenged, then you've got the skills and the knowledge that you know how to hold that conversation without getting emotional. And, I looked at, I watched Annabelle Crabb's documentary or interviews last week with various female politicians. And some of them, sort of really wishing they'd had different skills to be able to navigate that very complex environment that they're in. And there's no question that anyone who does this course, it opens up a whole new way of influencing, challenging, evoking awareness without evoking threat. And I think that's the really key thing for me, is that I can be in any group of people where there's lots of egos going on in the room. And as a woman, I have the skills to really impact on that conversation and influence and bring in some of the feminine energy that needs to happen in boardrooms and in organisations. And you wouldn't guess that I'm very passionate about this, having been a woman in business for many years, and some of the ways you get treated at different times, you just walk away shaking your head. And some of these are fairly recent experiences. I virtually had someone in the Department of Education in Queensland patting me on the head saying what a clever girl I was recently. And it was just so patronising. And, just being able to navigate those kind of contexts and recognising that, where you can have influence and where it's not worth bothering.
And the reach model, tell us a little bit about the reach model that we have within a coaching conversation, because that'll give people a bit of a deep dive into what this is all about.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter whether you do the full course or where you run a coaching skills for leaders program in-house with organisations, which is actually the opportunity of women who do the course with BWA will have this model that they can then take and use for themselves. We don't hide the IP. We make sure that it's available to everyone. And I originally worked with Queensland Health to develop the REACH model, and it stands for Rapport, Explore, Action, Clarify, and Honour. And we were working on a project, a people and culture project in Bundaberg after there'd been some really significant cultural issues at the hospital there. And we came together and looked at, the first part of the conversation has to involve rapport, and the last part has to involve honouring and validating the person. And hence we came up with this model, which is still as robust today as it was in 2007 and 8 when we first developed it. And we encourage people that have graduated from the course to use that model in their own organisations and in their own coaching.
I love it. And I love the little handy tool. I was using this in my practice coaching today.
Fantastic. Excellent.
I love it. I love it. And all the resources, all the readings, all the links to great resources. I mean, you really are setting everyone up for success, whether or not they're going to use these coaching skills in their roles at work, or whether or not they're going to set up a business. Because there's a massive growth in coaching businesses, isn't there?
There is, and there's a massive growth in the emphasis on women in leadership. And they go hand in hand. As a female leader with a coaching qualification, you open up so many more doors for yourself.
That's it. Well, we hope that this has been enough information for anyone who wants more information. On our website, we have a link there. You can actually book a call in with the Kathy McKenzie. She is the absolute pioneer and leader when it comes to coaching and accredited coaching qualifications. She's a gorgeous, warm person, as you can tell. So a huge plug for Kathy. We are delighted to be partnering with you, and we hope that everyone really enjoys being a part of our community. We're a really supportive bunch of women. We have a wonderful calendar of events, and we've got some great ideas of how we can really help coaches be successful, whether they've got their pathway as a career executive or whether or not they want to actually get a business up and running. We're here to support them be successful in that as well. Thanks,
Lyn. And I think that the Business Women's Association membership combined with what they're getting in the coaching is just such a great value add. So it's a very exciting time for us as well. It's awesome. Thank you very much. And we will see more great female coaches out there helping us change the world one coach at a time. Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Lyn. Thank you. Bye.